What's going on tonight, guys? All right, so we are out here working on the Mustang, and I figured I would get everyone a little bit caught up to speed about what the plans are. So from one of the previous videos, you would have seen that we have picked up a T45 for the Mustang, and that the Mustang is going to get swapped over to a manual from an automatic. So there is the T45 in there. Also, though, we've got a couple more updates, I would say. I picked up another T45 that I managed to score to Junkyard that needs an extension housing. As you can kind of see right there, it's actually completely broke all around the base there. However, that one's a good one. So I'm going back and forth and deciding if I want to put that one on that one, because this one needs an input shaft bearing for sure. Like, I mean, this one's kind of here. Hold on now. Let's see if I can give you guys a little more light as more stuff keeps dropping. This one absolutely needs an input shaft bearing, where that one really, from what I can tell, just needs a housing. So I don't know what caused this one to break. I haven't seen anything obvious. So I worry that it was something inside, but at the same point, I'm really not too concerned. So from another video, what you guys would have seen is you would have seen that we pulled out the motor. So there's the motor right there, kind of underneath the tarp and everything. Just make sure that nothing goes into the motor. What you guys haven't seen is a couple of the decisions that I've made with the motor being out, kind of taking advantage of all of the work being done. And that is, we are going to PI swap the Mustang. So I have two different sets of heads. I ended up stumbling when I picked up that trans. I ended up stumbling up across another set of PI heads that I liked a little bit more than this set. This set I pulled from an Explorer, but this one, funny enough, I had actually pulled directly from a 96 or 97 Mustang that was an automatic, that was manual swapped, that had the PI heads on it. So we're kind of gearing up to do that swap. So I have a massive list of parts all the way across here, as well as new radiator fans, kind of the whole shebang. Here's a bunch of parts kind of for the swap too. It's going to get headers. Those mufflers need to go away because we're not going to be using those. I've got a better set of mufflers for it, but we're going to be kind of trying to knock out a bunch of stuff all at once. Additionally, I don't know if it's going to show super well, I picked up a set of subframe connectors and control arms, the tubular style ones. Let's see if this is going to show good for the camera or not. Just some ones off eBay. I haven't really had any issues with these before. So this is what we're going to run on there. So I'll probably end up cutting out the rear end out of the car just to make it easier on myself. Oh, and also the reason why we're not using those mufflers, I managed to get a pipes system. So X-pipe, mufflers, and tips all at the Junkyard for super cheap. So that's what we're going to be running on this car when everything's said and done. Just running them right to the mufflers. Also managed to finally get one of these I've been looking for a little while, that goes behind the bumper. Just kind of make everything nice and simple. So we're going to, well, I should say, let's turn around for a second. I also managed to pick up a whole top. So that top is not perfect, but it's way better than this one. This one is junk. I think the frame is actually bad on this one. Just because from what I've seen, it was collecting water down here. I noticed since I took that one off, I noticed that this was not connected at all. I didn't pull on that. So it's letting water in through this channel, and it was collecting all down at the base over there. So definitely that was one of the issues. But on top of that, I think that there's a couple of holes in this one. And really it's not worth like getting it recovered or anything, especially when I think there's something wrong with the track. So we're going to pull this out off tonight, ideally. And put the new one on, just because it's not a huge process, but it is pretty involved. Probably the number one thing I'm concerned with are these bolts right here. I've already tried to remove them once. They are like a T40 or a T45, 45 or T50
bolt, and as you can see, these are super rotten. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this. I might just cut this and loop out the seat belt, because I don't want to fully remove the ability to put a back seat in this car, but at the same point, I don't think I'm going to ever put a back seat back in the car. So I do have the MDF over there so that we can cut a panel for the back of this, just to make life a little bit easier back here, kind of at least make it some more usable storage, to say the least. I can go from there. So that's what I haven't done. I probably will just end up cutting the bracket rather than fully removing it, just to give some option in the future where we can just go back in and weld back in a little function to actually lock that. So to make my life easier, as well as because we're changing directions on the seat program as well. So I don't have them in here right now, but because I'm working on doing motors and stuff like that. So instead of the stock seats in this car, and actually the shame of the thing is I got the nicer headrests for them. I got a pair of them. So instead of sticking with the stock seats, these seats are okay, but to be honest, they're pretty thrashed for what they are. I mean, they're pretty worn out. So we're gonna remove the seats. I've already actually got somebody interested in them. So we're going to remove these seats, and then we're actually going to be installing seats out of a 2002 Acura TL Type S. So it'll still be a leather seat, and it'll be fully movable. And actually, I've already went through, and I've got the heated seat circuits working in the seat. So I'm going to do a little bit of testing to make sure that I've got that all finalized and correct. But from what I've measured and from what I've looked at, it looks like it'll be a pretty straightforward swap. I'm going to just take some simple bar iron, right over here, I'm sorry, bar steel, like this right here. And all we're gonna do is probably gonna weld straight across. So the seats from the Acura just have a totally flat base. They've got some brackets. I'll remove the brackets. That's not really a problem. But what we'll do is we'll take that, connect from side to side the actual runner of it, the seat track, and then I'll probably actually just bolt it right back into the stock locations on the Mustang. That way I'm not drilling new holes. I'm not really doing anything out of the ordinary for this. All I'm doing is just changing out the physical seats themselves. But to get to that point, what we're probably going to do is I'm going to definitely put the center console in to make sure that fits. I'll probably put the door panels also on because I want to make sure that I get everything pretty centered as far as everything's concerned. So that's not going to happen in this video tonight, but I am going to start by taking out the seats just to get that all kicked off. Once the seats are out, we'll start removing the top. Top's a pretty straightforward process. I'll kind of show you guys how I've done it previously, because I did watch a couple videos online. I'm just like you guys in that way, to make sure that we're doing it correctly. But from there, it should come out as one full unit. So what I mean by the unit, I mean it'll come out with the arms, the rams, the lines. This is actually just retained with like some simple little clips. And so all of this will lift out at the exact same time. I have no idea what that is. So but yeah, so all of this will just lift out. It's pretty straightforward from there. So I'm gonna get working on that because it is a good amount of work to get it out, because you end up having to take off this track right here all the way around. And then the worst part is on the inside, there's all these little 12.13 millimeter nuts that need to come off, and then there's usually like a 10 millimeter nut behind that on some of them, and that's probably the one that got me that had me taking up the most amount of time at the junkyard for sure, was getting all of those pieces off. So but yeah, I'm going to start by removing the seats. That's going to give us a lot more mobility in the actual Mustang, and yeah, we can go from there and start working to get everything removed. Okay, so now that the seats are removed, we're gonna actually pop the trunk real quick. Ignore all the stuff in the back here. I'm kind of storing some stuff here. You need to remove, there should be 5 screws. It looks like I'm missing one. I think I grabbed another one. If not, it's not a big deal. So you just, these just Phillips head. So you just close this now. So it is a bit loose. I'm just looking to see. Yep, so there's one screw in here, and then there should be another one up front. See, but okay, so see, mine's a little screwy because somebody's removed a couple of the screws, especially where they're supposed to go. I'm gonna remove this just to make my life a bit easier. From what I recall, there is a... Yep, okay, so this should either pop off or will be a little bit hard, but it's not too bad. Yep, so there should be 3. Mine only has 2, but there should be 3 Phillips head screws here. And yeah, from what I recall, you want to do this with the window down. Let's see. This one, yep, okay. Pops out right there. Just looking to see. The one that I pulled from the junkyard was not secure as, say, like a regular top would be. Doesn't help because my car's had a rear quarter put on it, not by me. Go. Pops up just like that. There. Okay, so this. That's what I was thinking. Okay. So just comes out nice and easily like that. Right there. I'm going to slide this back on because I don't want to get too far ahead. It's okay that this one's not going back on for right now. But then you just set these out of the way. Somebody put a really good tip out there. Really good idea to paint these when they're off, or at least hit them up with something, because they all kind of get this faded look to them. Yeah, there is one screw right here. I'm gonna probably get stubby to deal with that one, but I'm gonna pop this one off. See how it just comes off right there? I've never had this one off. The other one I've had off before. Yep, they did not do this right on my car, where they only put 2 screws in. That, and it's just the one last one. So from there should be 3 clips right here. These are like just a pinch style clip, so I'm just taking a pick, working it underneath there, and they just come right off like that, just like that. So yep, so this should be all open. Yeah, you see how gnarly this top's getting. I mean, this top's disgusting. So yeah, we'll go over the other side. Looks like, yep, so one of them's missing. I wouldn't be surprised if it went down there. I knew that this side was kind of screwed up, because this is actually where the water leak. This was the water leak side. So let's move these out of the way. Okay, so because this side was all screwed up, you guys aren't going to be able to see, at least on this side, but I'll show on the other side. This is like a retention spring clip design that I'm gonna have to go in to fix this, but essentially this is this part is hard mounted to a screw that is in the panel, and basically you just it just retracts back and forth. So it's real simple. I was able to get them off by just well, I stay in the junkyard when I cut it, but apparently, like in the regular non-junkyard applications, if you're trying to save this, you have to kind of work these out, and they're kind of a bit of a pain, but not 100%. Yeah, so I just got this out. It's like a loop. So you just work it a little bit back and forth. I'm probably going to grab a. Yeah, okay, so it's a 10 millimeter in there from what I'm seeing in there. You know what, I'm going to do this a little bit unorthodox because I need to change the motor on this side anyways. The motor's a little weak, and I'm not particularly happy with that. So I'm actually going to take this off on both sides. This is just a 10 mil. 10 mil bolt here. There should be like a 13, I think it is. In here, this gets this whole bracket off. You have to take them off anyways for the top. So I'm going to do that real quick on both sides just to get that, not only to get that out of the way, but that gives me access there, and it gives me access to the bottom piece here. Probably right there and right there. So this is like glued on. To be honest, I'll probably tack screw it back in just because gluing things isn't my favorite way to go about this, but you never know. We'll see. We'll see what I have to work with. I know in the yard when I pulled the motors out, totally unrelated, this window motor is just a little slow, which is why I pulled it. Or I pulled a pair of them, but I just broke these. I'd like to not break them if I can avoid it, because I think these are actual weather seals, from what I recall. Okay, so you'll kind of see there's a little bit of there's a little piece right here that's like a push clip. There's one here. There's one here. Sorry, this is just really sticky, really hard to see. Okay. Yep. Just like that. Okay. These are an 8 mil. Let's see. I believe they're an 8 mil. Let me double check. Yep, they're an 8 mil. Okay. Taking a look. I don't know if mine had this plate, but I can transfer it. Let's see real quick. Let's see. Oh no, did they change the design from 95? Hold on a minute. We're gonna see, because this isn't... I wonder... Oh, that's so frustrating if they did. If they did, they went from an external, like a regular window motor, to a more flat. Why would you do that? There's no benefit. Oh, that's really annoying if that's the case. Because when you change these out, you don't change this substructure. So, well, it's a real shame then. Let's see. On a lot of these cars, you just assume that a lot of this is going to be the same from like 94 to 98. Oh, hold on a minute. Okay. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're all right then. Because, yeah, I think we're going to be okay. So, gear, maybe it isn't supposed to be pushed out like I just did, but I don't know. I would just find it very strange if it wasn't, because it looks like everything else. Okay, oh, hold on, are those not centered? No, those are not centered. So, all the mounting tabs are fine. Weird. Okay, but let's see. Yeah, seems fine. So. Motors are very simple. It's just positive and negative, and if you want to go the other direction, you just flip it. So let me grab the adapters that I made up. So on any Milwaukee battery, it's very simple to do some of these things. So, real quick, sorry, I'm just looking to see real fast. We should be okay to do this right here. Okay. So for example, if we pop this one right here, if you look actually on there, this is just like a regular M12 battery. It'll actually see, well, you guys won't be able to make this out. It'll say at the bottom which one's positive and negative. The positive for mine on this M12 battery is the right side, and then the negative is the left. So in this instance, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so what we are going to do, okay, and just kind of keep in mind, you do want to put like a fuse, like this is just a 20 amp fuse I've got in line for this kind of stuff, just to make it my life a little bit easier. Okay, so we're going to just pick one of them. It's not really a big deal, and then we're going to test it. Okay, so you can tap it. It's not going to blow up your battery or anything. Come on. Okay. We're working. Let's see. Wondering if I wonder if the batteries is dead. Let's see. Oh, I think we actually popped my fuse. That's why. Not a big deal. Very hard to see. Okay, so again, just gonna hook up one side here, one side here. I just grabbed another 20 amp fuse. Makes my life much simpler. Okay, now we should have some. Yeah, see? So okay, so since it's not moving up, you can kind of hear it too. You don't really need to like do these for a really long time. You just have to kind of see a little bit. So see how that one now wants to come up? So now we're gonna just hold it. Yep. Okay, so since that's all the way up, you do want to be careful when you're doing any of these type of things, because you don't want to overextend the motor at all. And I can already tell you right now, you guys didn't really get a chance to see, this thing really went up much nicer than the old motor. The old motor looks like it's already been replaced, and it also looks like it's junk. So now we have a 20 millimeter bolt that I'm sorry, 10 millimeter bolt that I believe I'm going to need the wobble for, but let me double check. It's all the way back there. I'm also going to go ahead and state this is probably not the recommended way to do this, because this just makes your life much harder. I actually think it's an 8. This makes it much harder. Okay. Okay, so moving back up here, I'm going to try to do it the way that you're supposed to do it. Keyword's try. So, let's see. Ideally, you can just pop this through. Let me see, I'm going to grab just a pick. Okay, yep. So, that actually was really not so bad, thankfully. I'm going to see if I can get this to stay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I just looped it right here to make my life a little bit easier with everything said and done. Okay, the only other thing to do, you end up having to put the top up after this. So I'm going to put this window back down, and then we're going to have to deal with the seatbelt situation. Okay, so we're just going to cut a relief right here. Again, yours is probably not going to be as rotten as mine is, which is the only reason why this is doing it. I can tell already that this is rounding. I remember when I pulled the seatbelts at the junkyard to get the other top. This is a Torx. It's not any form of like hex head or anything like that. So this thing's just junk. So I'm just going to cut a relief in this, and then we can go from there. Okay, just like that. So just be sure if you do this, you're gonna want to re-weld that afterwards. If you are planning on putting back the seat belts back in there, you do not want to leave it just like this. That's not enough structure on that side. So I can clean that up and weld it, so I'm not too concerned. Okay, so I have jumper cables hooked directly up to the fuse box. Let me see if this gives me anything. Okay. Okay, so now moving inside the car, you end up having to address a couple of things pretty, not quickly, but you end up needing to take, I believe it's a T20, and then there's 4 of these. So there's going to be one on each of the arms. So if you can see this right here, make sure you guys can see that. It's one right here, let me make sure. Yep, yeah, it should be a T20. So you end up having to take off 4 of these. So one right here, unfortunately my big head is in the way. There's another one back here that is kind of hard to see. And then this top in particular is junk, so it's even harder to see on this one. But if we, yep, just like this. Basically, you want to bring an impact if you're doing this in like a yard or something like that, to be able to get these off. So I'm gonna hit the one you guys can't see on camera real quick, just because they come right out. It's just they're kind of annoying to get to. So I am making sure. Okay. So let's see. Once we hit these, you will be able to just let everything hang. And yeah, like I said, I mean, this one's gonna be like next to impossible for you guys to see, just because it's not only is it failing. You know what? I'm gonna see if I can just rip it. Okay, apparently not. Oh, is this one the? Oh, okay, yep. Huh. Huh. Okay. Interesting. Throw that out there. Always, it's weird in the yard too. There's a bunch of stuff that's just like sitting in the back of these cars. Like every single time that I like look them over for parts and stuff like that, exactly like that kind of stuff is what it is. So even though I did buy this from a junkyard, it was not ever put out for parts to be taken off of it. Okay, so there is a couple of, I forgot about these ones, but there is a couple of T20 bolts that are on the back of this little piece right here. Let's see. Just making a little pile. Yeah, it looks like there's 4 of them. So, got that done. Make sure real quick. I think that these were just clipped in. Okay, yep, okay. So, now that this is off, this can come free, but I'm trying to recall off the top of my head, I think that these were just clipped in. I'd like to not break them if I can avoid it, but like, I mean, it is what it is. Let's see. Yep, okay. Yep, they are just clipped in. They're just a really big clip. Okay, so you end up throwing it back on that side. I'm doing the path of the driver's side right now that you guys can't see really. And then you should be able to pull up gently on this piece right here. Yep. And then this should, yeah. So you'll end up feeding the seatbelt bracket through this. Yep, just like that right there. Because this gives you access to the back. Gives you access to the trunk. So I really should probably hop back out and pull the trunk insulator out just to give even more access. But okay, cool. So there's that. Now these are kind of interesting. So these are just like, it's this weird kind of design where it's got a clip on it, but it kind of doesn't. So like, unfortunately my window is like falling, which will make this just much harder. But with that being said, all it is this is effectively like a channel that these sit in. So like, you end up being able to work them out directly like this piece right here. And then this will allow you for everything to like move a little bit more freely. For you to have a little bit more access to actually getting out the actual ones, which are a 13mm 12-point. I know I watched another video, he's like, yeah, it's a 10mm. I can promise you it's a 13. Because I did not have the 13 at the junkyard, and it would have been incredibly helpful. I would not even really recommend doing like a 13 6-point on these because of how difficult that they are to do. As well as if they strip, it is a huge pain. So, okay. So that's kind of what you want to avoid, is like tearing things, especially if you're reusing any of this stuff. This one is complete garbage, so like I'm not as concerned, and I do have another one that's in very good shape that I got with the top. But you want to make sure that you're like, if this is going to be like a deal breaker for you, I'm trying to make it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. You kind of want to just take your time. This part just kind of sucks, if I'm being honest with you. It's a little difficult to pull this, but once you do it once, you'll kind of see like a little bit of things of what I'm talking about with this and why it's as difficult as it is in some instances. So I need to try to get back here. The problem is I can't see it. Okay, now I can see it. So if you follow this whole thing, by the way, make sure you disconnect your, you want to make sure you disconnect and then you feed the wire through for the defrost if you have it. I know some models didn't. I think it was like something strange. So you unhook, there's a little loop right here, and then make sure you drop it through the hole, because this whole cover piece will come out, and you want to make sure that you're not snagging that, because I'm pretty sure it's a very simple way to bust glass, as well as, from what I recall, this this whole thing is pretty much a really hot, really high amperage draw, because essentially it's just shorting itself to defrost the window. So definitely want to be careful of that. But let's see. Yeah, so this has been a problem for a while because he's got tape over here, the previous owner. So okay, so coming back over here, you'll find another T20 basically in each of the corners. And this is kind of strange because this happened to me on the other car too, but it doesn't rip it. You end up having to do this, where it starts to starts to wrap around your ratchet, but it doesn't matter. So it's kind of weird how that works. Now that this, the only annoying thing is like this is exactly what it does. So I'm gonna try to tuck this up because it's super annoying, and then you guys can kind of see a little bit better on this one about what you end up having to do. So you basically want to go down and then up, and down and up. That'll allow it to work through the channel to push it out. But I mean, like, man, like I'm just like barely touching this, and yeah, this thing's just shredding. So this top is just destroyed. So I did not know that when I bought the car. But again, when you buy a car from the junkyard, you kind of have to be okay with this kind of stuff. So let's see if I can give you guys an angle from the other side. All right. So here's back here is this. Let's see if I can even see it. I'm just gonna have to. Okay. All right. Well, not ideal, but necessary. See, like I said, it's kind of weird. It's like they want you to do that, and it's not a big deal. So then we okay. Okay. So this little piece is out. You should be able to just lift this up. There's a lot of junk in this for me, so I'm just trying to be a little bit more cognizant of where I kind of shove this. There we go. Pull it this way. Should just pull right out now. Just like that. Okay, so now I can show you guys the fun part, because this is the part that you want to be a little cautious of. I'm also going to throw these T20s that were in the bar, because now you can kind of see the backside. So I'm just throwing these back in here for right now, just to make my life a little bit easier so I don't lose them. Overall, now I just need to decide if I'm going to pull these seatbelt covers or not. But let's get working on this. Should see if there's actually a seal for this. That would be the smart thing to do. Basically, I'm just starting these. There's not a massive requirement. I didn't think that there was 6, even though there's a hole here and a hole there. I really don't think that there's 6. I could be wrong. How about you guys comment if I am wrong? But I think that there was only 4 from memory. So I think there might be 6, you know, there might be 6 holes, but they might have only used 4 because they didn't need all 6. So, okay. Now this is where you're going to want that 13 millimeter 12 point, and essentially every single one of these you want to make sure you're fully on, because you need to remove them. And I'd still recommend an impact of some sort, but put it on a lower, you know, put it on a lower speed so that you're not like ripping these, because let me show you. Okay, cool. All right, so they're like a plastic cap. So they've got a 10 millimeter in them, but they've got a plastic cap. So it's kind of annoying, but let's see. You just really want to take your time, because if you strip them out, you gotta sit here with like a pair of channel locks, and they're not the best thing to sit here and remove. But with a 13 millimeter 12 point, they come immediately out. So, and this is just like the 1/4 inch Milwaukee M18. I think it's a fuel. Yeah, it's a fuel. So like, I'm not hitting these with like 1,000,000 pounds of torque by any stretch, and these are coming right out when I'm hitting them. So sometimes they'll do that. I noticed the ones in the junkyard that fought me were these corner ones. For whatever reason, they were stripped, or they stripped really easily, I should say. We're kind of fighting like a lot of rust here too on the studs. The studs themselves are part of the car, so keep that in mind. Let's see, I'm going to try to put this on a different stud that's easier to access, just to work this off. There we go. And I will say, so that since the first time I did it with that 6 point to this one with the 12 point, because I knew I had the 12 point at home, the 12 point's working much better. Like none of these are coming out screwed up. They're all coming out nice. Okay, again. Let's see, no, it's not chewing them all up, so. Let's see. This one will be fun. Okay, that should be all of them. Just check in. Last time that went way better than it did the Junkyard because I had the right tool. All right, now we can hop out of the car. So now, if you have a clean channel, feel free to go ahead and drop the top, and then I'll show you where the bolts are to remove it. But if you don't, like if you got a bunch of crap in here like I do, now's a great time to just vacuum it out, because then you don't have to worry about it going everywhere. I apologize because I forgot one last thing. When you're in here, once all the bolts are removed, you're going to want to pry the channel out. So I just have like a really simple pry bar. You can do it with a flathead screwdriver, but basically you're just gonna be prying this piece out. It should freely come out. Like this is where I'm gonna actually take this portion that we shoved up here and pull it out so that I don't have anything bound up as well. Yeah, but like, you know, yeah, so like, once you start it, it should immediately come. I'm going to push this from the outside, but you guys get the inner perspective. Just like that. Just go slow on this part, guys, because what it's doing, let me move this over here for you guys. So as you see, it's kind of like binding a little bit. Now, it's probably a good idea to do this with an empty trunk, but here we are anyways. So, as you can see, it's just binding a little bit. So if you go slow, you won't, because at the end of the day, if you've got a junk top that you're not trying to refurbish, the only thing that we're avoiding here is we just don't want to clean up glass. That's pretty much it. So you guys kind of heard right there with the motor, pretty much where the stop is. You don't want to go any further than that because that's going to just start trying to burn through. So, but there we go. We almost have this one out. So that's the fun part. So it is a T50, okay, and you're going to have one right here. We have one right here. I'm trying to remember because I didn't have any issues. Get that up. And then you're going to have one right here. You want to wait until the end for that one because that one's the easiest to access. And it's just... yeah, okay. There we go. And then they do come out, thankfully. And then, funny enough, you will still need to clip this. This is actually factory Ford. Pretty funny. Okay. Should be the last bolts holding this in. So we're going to get cutters and cut both those zip ties. Okay, so that should all be free. You will have a couple of clips like this that you can either unhook or just simply flip them out, just like what I was just doing right there. There should be one or two on the back side too that you'll wanna keep in mind. Let me see real quick if I can get a view in there. I want to say it's two. But I think I'm wrong. I think it might just only be one. Yep, so it's right here then. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So there's one on top of the amp, one right here. Okay? Yeah, because I think this is, yeah, totally free. One right here, and then that's it. So there should only be three on each side. So flipping over this side, also in the middle, make sure you disconnect this. I'm just using this because it's the only thing that I can get in there. My nails are a little too short. And then to pop these pumps off, they're super easy. All you do is you literally just go like that. You just keep pulling up until it releases. That's it. Very, very simple. Oh, I was wrong. Okay, sorry. This side, there's one additional one right back here, but it does not look like there is one on the other side. So there we go. Okay, so from this point, obviously make sure that you're not going to step on a bunch of bolts and stuff like that. It's going to make you lose your balance. You can pick you should be able to pick the top straight up. I forgot to mention also in the beginning of this, obviously you have to have the rear seat out. But with that being said, it's not, that's not a real big deal. And most people can figure out how to pull those. I think it was like 4 bolts. Or maybe it was only 2 bolts. Sorry, 2 bolts at the top, and the bottom are just press releases. So pull this out. So a forewarning, this is kind of heavy. So if you don't have He-Man strength, you better have friends. Probably the best way to put that. These ones just aren't the most fun. These aren't the most fun top to pull, so I did struggle a bit too as well, but yeah, it's just one of those ones that's just not that fun. To make my life easier, I just threw a cover on the trunk so that I could pick it up and then just slide it back. Just like that. Now watch the bottom of these cylinders because they are metal. So if you do what I was what I was going to do on this, and just slide it back. You'll just want to make sure it doesn't hit your paint if you've got good paint. Or if you don't have good paint, you just don't want scratches. So once you have this on the back end like this, you really want to pick up. Unfortunately, I don't think it's a great idea to try to try to use the glass as the focal point, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. Okay. Well, that should do it. So we got everything out. I just quickly went and pulled, or I quickly went and vacuumed out basically all the nooks and crannies. But for the most part, this is it. Like you kind of get a complete unabridged view of everything. Gives you a lot of quite a bit of room, obviously. So if there's things that you need to do, so for example, I need to pull this panel off and reconnect this stupid hook. You want to do that when everyth's apart rather than when you put the top back in and have to start working around that equation. I'm not entirely sure if this seal should be replaced, just because it's totally underneath that metal plate. I have no idea on that. So I'm gonna look into that. I would say if you can find it, it's probably worth it to change, because like this one's all jacked up, anyways. So obviously, whenever you can change out some of these seals, this one particularly is quite a pain to get to. It's probably worth it for your time. So yeah, that should about wrap up the removal, and we'll get cooking on the install, and we'll go from there.